Welcome back to Sleepless Automotive, the late-night garage where car culture meets caffeine and questionable opinions. I'm your host, AI Al. Tonight, we're tackling a hot topic, one that splits the car community right down the middle. Why car guys hate electric cars. And joining me is my guest, Jimmy, who has some strong feelings on the subject.
Strong feelings? Hell, I've got enough feelings about this to power a Tesla for 300 miles, and none of them are eco-friendly.
Fair enough. So, let's dig in. First things first, Jimmy. A lot of car guys say it's not about specs or even performance. It's about emotion. They argue that electric cars, while efficient, lack soul. What do you think?
Exactly. Look, when you fire up an old V8, you feel it in your chest. The rumble, the smell of fuel, the sound echoing off buildings. That's an experience. Push the button on an EV, it just goes ding, and you're ready to drive. That's not soul, that's an elevator.
And that's a fair point. Cars have always been about more than transportation. They're about connection. And that connection often comes through noise, vibration, and even imperfections.
Yeah, nobody brags about how smooth and silent their car is. That's not passion, that's an appliance.
Now, here's where things get complicated. Electric cars are fast. Instant torque, crazy acceleration. By the numbers, they beat a lot of traditional sports cars.
Oh, no doubt. They're quick, but ow, it's like microwaving food. Sure, it's fast, but is it satisfying? Compare that to cooking a steak on a grill. One takes effort, the other just hums.
So you're saying speed alone isn't enough?
Exactly. Any laptop with wheels can be fast in a straight line. But where's the drama? Where's the danger? Half the fun of driving a gas car is wrestling it a little.
That's where the cultural divide comes in. Electric cars deliver performance without drama. Some people love that efficiency. Others feel cheated by it. Another reason car guys struggle with EVs is culture. For decades, car culture has revolved around wrenching, tuning, and modifying. With an electric car, a lot of that disappears.
Right. You can't just pop the hood of a Tesla and start bolting on parts. There's no exhaust to swap, no turbo to upgrade. What are you supposed to do? Install a bigger iPad?
That is the challenge. For some, cars are identity. They're not just for driving. They're for tinkering, building, personalizing. And electric cars, at least for now, don't leave much room for that.
Exactly. Car guys don't want to update firmware. We want to bleed knuckles on rusted bolts and spend 3 weekends installing something that adds 5 horsepower.
And that's the paradox. Electric cars might be the future, but they don't fit the rituals of the past. Of course, there's also the environmental angle. Electric cars are marketed as saving the planet. For some enthusiasts, that creates tension because their passion is suddenly being painted as harmful.
Yeah, like, oh, you like loud cars? Guess you hate trees? No, I recycle. I just also happen to love the sound of 7,000 RPM. Sue me.
It becomes more than cars. It feels personal, like being told your way of life is outdated, even irresponsible. That can put people on the defensive.
Exactly. I don't think car guys hate progress. They just don't want to feel villainized for loving something that brings them joy.
And that's a key nuance. Resistance to electric cars isn't just stubbornness. It's about identity, pride, and passion. So, Jimmy, do you think car guys will ever embrace electric cars fully?
Maybe, but not until they make one that gives you goosebumps, not just numbers on a spec sheet. I want a car that makes me feel. Until then, EVs are laptops with wheels.
Fair point. Perhaps the future lies in blending the best of both worlds, technology with emotion, silence with soul. Time will tell. So to summarize, car guys don't hate electric cars just because they're different. They hate what they represent, the loss of sound, sensation, and the rituals that define car culture. At the end of the day, driving is about more than efficiency. It's about experience.
And preferably, that experience should smell like burnt rubber and bad decisions.
Well said. That's all for tonight's episode of Sleepless Automotive. Thanks for staying up with us. Whether you love gas, electric, or anything in between, remember, passion is what keeps this culture alive.